crikey for that. Hello, everybody. Please, hoping that there are people there. Sorry, a bit late. Is there anybody out there?
Give us a pineapple. I want to see some pineapples if you're there. Please. Pina colada.
Checking we've got it live in the right place. Give us a pineapple if you're there. Oh dear, what a day. I have been running around like a total idiot. Carmela's there. Woohoo! And you're right, Carmela. Thank you very much for picking up that little old typo in the reminder post. It said it was on Thursday, not Wednesday, Barbara.
I know, I saw that just
I know.
now because I always have to check. What was the time again?
Yes. Hi, Iris. We've got Iris as well. LJ,
Hi.
LJ's on YouTube. Hi, LJ.
Wonderful. Hey, LJ.
You're welcome. We are now on Facebook, so you can do either or indeed both if you so desire. So, yeah. So, how's things been going with your pupsters, Barbara?
Good. In fact, we just come back from the field. I had two classes to teach and I took all my whole
Of
gang
course.
along the little bit was now before the first class, and then Stevie was demo dog in the second class, and then
How did she do? Was she good girly?
she was a really good girlie. She struggles a little bit when we go in and she sees the other dogs and the people, and and then she forgets all her nice leash walking, so she runs. Yeah, no, come, you have to go with me. But then when she's at her station and she got to hang out in the kennel and watch the other dogs, and I could leave her there and move around. So she was a really good girl. And then she also did really nice with the, I was very proud of her. She's so,
Oh,
and it was quite
good. She's
hard.
coming on so well, isn't she?
She's good. She just has really easy, wonderful temperament.
Does
And
she?
then, yeah, no, she does. She really does. She's a little bit shy with people and, uh, and likes to, take new things in from afar. But once
That's
she,
totally fair enough, isn't it? Totally fair enough.
absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, and Falky was participated in. There were only two students today in the agility class, so Falky got to play, and
Excellent.
he did really well. I'm so proud of him. He's getting better and better, like with his focus and being able to stick with it, and he's really enjoying it. Right, and he used to be, couldn't. I took a long pause with him, just working on foundations, our recallers games, and things like that.
Which is brilliant. And that's sometimes
Mm.
something that's so important, isn't it? Is taking things so super slowly and taking your time with the basics.
Yeah, and now he's holding it together beautifully. I mean, I structure him, quite a lot. So we have a kennel set up. He goes into his kennel, and then I do a rep. Whatever we're working on, one rep, and then we end up in the kennel again. And he dives into his kennel. And then we might play a tag a little bit, and then back in the kennel, and then we start again, and we do whatever we were doing, bit of jumping, but mostly we were doing tunnel, just foundation games around the tunnel. Anyway, so he was having a blast. I was having a blast. It was fun. Yeah.
Brilliant. That sounds like so much fun. Right, we've got
Yeah.
some comments now,
Cool.
which is
Let's have a
quite
look.
nice.
I need to actually find us on Facebook now so I can.
If you're not found us, yes. I'm just seeing if there was a couple of people that wanted to know how to join. So I'm seeing if I can tag them. Seeing if there's a couple of people that wanted to. Oh, I can hear myself now, which is always weird.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, that's because
Yeah,
I. There we go. Turn it off.
there she
Sorry.
is. She wanted to join, so hopefully that will tag her. And there was the other one, Holly, that was it.
Hi, Sue.
If you're here, Holly, tell me.
Hi, Ellison. Oh, LG, your brain must be frozen.
I cannot
Minus
believe that. Minus
27.
26C. That is madness. I've never, no, never. How does your like face not freeze off?
It does, actually.
I mean, oh, whereabouts are you, LJ? Oh, and Alison as well from sunny Shropshire,
Mhm.
the pretty end of Shropshire. Oh dear.
So
Right.
what are we talking
So
about today,
today,
Julia?
today, we are talking about um dogs' energy levels.
Mm. Oh,
So
love that.
whether, because we know, and we know actually just from our dogs, don't we, Barbara, that they naturally have very different kind of energy levels. And, when we talk about our dogs being calm, it looks very different for different dogs. So, what's the difference between having a dog that's a high energy level and a dog that's just stressed? And what can we do that might help our dogs that have different types of energy levels? For example,
All
um,
right.
so how
Let's
we can help them, how we can work with them.
Okay. Well, then maybe let's first find out what everybody's got.
That's
So,
a really good idea.
if you have a really high energy, whatever you would, overexcited, super, yeah, always want to go kind of dynamo dog, then please post us what should it be? A peach. And if your dog is more on the um, chilled spectrum, likes to snooze, goes with you places, but it's more sort of a calmer dog, then give us an orange. So a peach if your dog basically has zoomies 24/7. I'm exaggerating. But if you would think, if you would call your dog a high energy dog, then give us a peach. And if you would call your dog rather a chilled, you know, always ready to snooze on the couch kind of a dog, then give us an orange, just so that we see what we got. Oh, lots of peaches. My goodness gracious.
Oh,
Carmela, ooh,
peachish.
that is all just peachy. And also has a peach. Allison has a peach.
Carmela's got all the peaches, yeah.
Yeah, all the peaches. My goodness. I'm not sure if that's peach jam, peach juice, peach everything. Wowzers. Is that all in one dog, Carmela? I should probably have used chili peppers. I just couldn't think of it at that moment.
That would have been a really good idea, actually.
Yeah. And LJ
Or
says, hmm?
it could be that you've got how many dogs? What, about 23 dogs there? And they're
And
all
they're all
super high.
peaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Gertrude also has
You've got
a,
two, well, there you go, two working cockers. Yeah.
oh, well, yeah. Yeah,
You
we
don't
have.
come across too many of those that are a bit sort of slower and ploddier, do you?
So
Not.
LG says, the NH, New Hampshire. Short trips outside dressed in layers. Sporty wears boots and a fleece jacket when it's this cold. Lots of time in front of the wood stove. Luckily, Bodie is mellow. So he's an orange dog. Orange color, orange.
Nice. Nice.
And Marion's dog is orange at home and a peach outside. That sounds like,
Ah,
yeah, that's
interesting.
like my Noah.
Interesting. And that suggests that, some of that high energy, zoomy stuff is powered by arousal levels rather than just being a natural state.
Mm. So Eleni says she has peach orange hybrids.
Oh,
Because her dogs are high energy Aussies that learned an off switch.
and I would call those peaches because that's kind of their default setting is peachy.
I'm glad I went with the peach shade.
Yes, they've got a peachy default setting, so they're high energy
Mhm.
dogs. However, through your amazing training, you have helped them to learn to bring things down, which is kind of one of the keys to this, really, isn't it? Is thinking about, okay, so what do we do when we actually have one of these types of dogs? So what would you say yours are, Barbara?
Oh, peaches.
All peachy because they're border collies, and border collies, not always, but usually.
No, not always, but these are all,
Yeah.
they're bred to be fiery, all of them.
Yeah. Whereas my Dash is definitely an orange.
Nice.
He's definitely an orange. Hattie is more peachy. She's peachier than he is. And you can always you can always look at it, you know, as well as, are they the sort of dogs that have to think things through carefully? Or are they the dogs that just will just do? It's like with us, really. You know, there are some of us that are quite considered in how we do things. And then there are others of us that will just dive in. And that's similar with our dogs. And you can see that if you're somebody that needs to consider things really super carefully first before you make any decisions and before you do things, then you need to really approach how you learn new things, how you deal with situations in a different way to someone that's more, you know, in with both feet straight away, that kind of person. So I have a question again. What about you? So we've discussed that most of your dogs are peaches, although Bodhi is very thoughtful, isn't he? What about you yourselves? So if you are a high energy doer type of dog, you're not a dog, a high energy doer type of human.
Good
Is there a
catch.
chili pepper emoji?
Yes, there is.
If you can find it, chili pepper emoji. If you are someone that's a bit more considered and you like to think about things first, then we will have is there a mango? I want there to be a mango.
There is a mango. So I'm
Right.
I'm
If you can
posting
find
the
a
chili
mango,
pepper.
because I think a mango is quite a nice, cooling, calming type of fruit.
Okay, so I'm just posting a chili and a mango.
Ah, so Alison is a mango person. So you like to consider things first. Carmela's a chili. Iris is a chili. It's really interesting, actually, because in our partnership, we've probably got I'm probably more chili-y and you're more mango-y. And it works really well when you combine them together because Barbara makes me think about stuff. But I'm the one that says, right, let's just get it done. Let's just do it.
Yes, very
And
good.
then she slows things down and I just make sure they get done. And it works really cool.
Yeah.
So we've got a mixture with ourselves. And I think, you know, when you've got a bit of a mismatch between not a mismatch, that's wrong, but when it's a difference between you and your dog, sometimes it can make it a little bit more difficult to understand. Because if you're a super like 2 feet in a doer type of person and you've got a dog that's a thinker, it can be a little bit frustrating, can't it? It's a little bit, oh, for God's sake, we just get on with it. Whereas if you're somebody that considers something, it's like, why is he like a bull in a china shop all the time? And you can get that as sort of frustrations. So let's have a think about tips for them. So these kind of doer dogs, they're the dogs that are going to find stillness more challenging. So anything to do with being still, they're going to find it a little bit more difficult. And you might have issues where with a reactive dog, for example, because they find stillness challenging in the first place, then being still in the presence of a trigger is going to be even more challenging. So movement can be quite important. So who was it? I can't remember now. There's somebody said.
Angie says Bodhi and her are well matched. I like that.
Oh, of course you are. You're perfectly matched, aren't you? You're absolutely brilliant. So yes, Eleni, like you said about you've taught them an off switch. So you've helped them, um, you've helped them grow that stillness. So has anybody got any thoughts when you've got or from what you've observed? So those people who've got peachy dogs, so that your doer dogs, your dogs that have got the high energy levels, what sort of things, what sort of behaviors or things in your training schedule do your dogs find particularly difficult? So if you could just type in the comments anything that you find difficult. So we've got another watcher on YouTube, which is delightful. Small Town Witch. What's your actual name? So I don't just call you Small Town Witch the whole time. It's a bit of a mouthful. But you're very, very welcome. I'm really glad you're here. So yeah, for people with peachy dogs, what do your dogs find difficult to do?
Watching other dogs work.
Well, yeah, without actually, particularly in that stillness. Absolutely.
Yeah, having to wait for
Yeah.
them to.
Anybody put anything yet? Stays, too many, they get bored. Me too, actually, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, remaining at a stay. Any kind of control position, really. So I think if you're working on, say, do you know one that I think is really difficult is a really good stacked stand? For a dog that wants to be moving around all the time, that is really hard, isn't it? So we need to think, okay, well, how do we grow those skills so that they can cope with that sort of thing much, much better?
I always find though that, yeah, you see what Ellison says, not biking 4 feet on the floor before walk, ignoring what's going on outside when watching bird TV through the window. So the thing is, I always find that like a stay exercise and a real chill are not the same.
Oh, I agree, totally.
So
Totally. Because the
like
stay is like anticipatory, isn't it?
exactly. And
Yeah.
I actually find that the drivey dogs are really good at that. Right? Because they anticipate what comes next. They're looking forward and they keep saying, look, I'm doing it, look, I'm doing it, look, I'm doing it. Right? If you build it up in layers, then you know that none of my dogs have difficulty with that. But to actually chill when you know when there is stuff happening, that is a real art. Right? To
Absolutely.
get the dog to say, oh, well, it's not my turn. I might as well, it might be half an hour. I might as well have a snooze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in terms of helping them, I mean, there are some pretty obvious ones that, training things that we do, like chill zones and hot zones and things like that, which help, and teaching a settle, which help. But also, I think things that are really, really crucial are things like just any exercise that help them to slow down and offer control. So any sort of food control type games, like And It's Your Choice from Susan Garrett, for example, affection of an example to help a very busy, busy dog to be able to get that to be able to slow down. Those sorts of games are really, really useful. So there's other things like teaching a get it. So that little bit of, where you put a piece of food over there, you restrain them and then they have to get it, those kind of things. That aeroplane game, so where you deliver food really slowly, those can be really, really great. But as well as that, the other thing, and I know you're going to agree with this, that I think is super important, is your mechanics, particularly with your food delivery and your reward delivery mechanics, are really important. Because with a doer dog, they're going to be looking for any cue to bring the level up again.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, was I being too interesting again?
No, Julia. Oh no, I'm just tired because it's late for me, and we've been doing lots of things anyway.
We
No,
have.
you're spot on. Keep going.
I'll just carry on talking, shall I?
Well, actually, I meant to interject actually, and
Yeah,
then I
please do.
interjected by my own yawn. So what I see time and time again, a mistake that I make, because let's face it, I'm lazy, not being a, being a mango. So I sit,
Being a mango.
dogs, dogs have to be, dogs on their hard zones while I'm, eating my lunch or something, and we practice a bit of stillness. And of course, the puppy wants to play with Falky, and anyway. So is that I toss my food rewards, because 3 dogs, I mean, they're not all right there, right? I make a point of having a puppy right next to me, but Falky might be over there. So then I toss the food. And here's the thing, things can go pear-shaped, because the food can bounce off the dog's head, fall off the bed.
Yeah.
And unless your It's a Choice is rock solid, so good old Noah, he'll just lie there and look at it, and then I can get up and pick it up. But Falk will just dive on it. And if that happens, basically once every session you do this sort of thing, he's not going to chill. What you want is to, feed slowly. Julia demonstrates it, when she teaches chill zone, really slowly, as if you're pushing through molasses, right? Really slowly. That's really important. So when the puppy is next to me, I can like just put the food on the bed, calmly. So don't toss. I tossed again lunchtime, and I
Did
think,
you? And you do, don't you? And you think I really shouldn't have done that.
we all have, yeah, we all have our Muppet moments.
What
Right?
I've got in my head now, I'm thinking of Carmela and your two working cockers. And you can see it, can't you? Because when you feed like a dog like that, a super drivey working type dog, if you once you, if you rehearse that slow feeding, you get a lot of focus, you get that kind of we are slow now. And even though it's relative, because it's a working cocker, you do get that relative calmness. But the minute you drop that piece of food, that's it. They'd be like, right, what are we doing? We're ready, ready to go. And so you've got to get that, really, really spot on. So, it's best to do with your food delivery, for example. I did a little study on food delivery and, the response that dogs have. You're best to, feed to the mouth is going to be, the best, but slowly. Whereas things like getting your dog to catch, dropping the food, throwing the food, bowling the food, getting your dog to follow the food, they're all going to be a little bit more eek up here.
In Susan Garrett's crate games, she makes a brilliant point, because you send your dog to the crate, and you also reward your dog for staying in the crate. And she says, toss the reward as soon as the dog is in. Toss the reward for drive, to reward driving into the crate, but then feed the dog to the mouth for staying in the crate, right?
Carmela said, I have to slow my whole being down, my voice reward, etc. Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly it. And it is. And you almost have to slow yourself down from the inside as well, don't you? Because your dog will pick up on everything. And the other thing with these kind of the peachy dogs, so the busy, busy, busy dogs, is actually when they're up here, can they bring themselves down? Do they know how to come back down again? That can be really hard. And again, that's something that you need to rehearse and practice, because it is a skill, isn't it? Because otherwise you just get that mad dog being mad all over the place, not getting enough sleep, getting grumpy, being reactive, biting stuff, being destructive. I'm being, slightly dramatic, but I'm sure people have got dogs like these. And then suddenly it'll be pow, they're out. But you've already had all those, behaviors that you didn't want because the dog was overtired because they've been on the go. Whereas, how can we stretch that muscle of bringing that arousal level down and helping them to rehearse bringing that arousal level down?
And she says she's now yawning.
That's Barbara's fault.
Oh, yeah.
Oh dear. So, I mean, what I would do to, a little tip if that's your dog and they struggle to bring themselves down, is actually set up training scenarios where that's what you're doing. So think of behaviors or tricks or games or any fun stuff that you do with your dog that are high energy for your dog, and things that are sort of middly energy for your dog, and things that are lower energy for your dog. And it can be different from dog to dog, of course it can, you know, and then try to, alternate between them. And that just gives your dog an opportunity to practice. And because they're doing stuff and they're a doing dog, they're using their movement to alter that energy level, which then helps their brain to rehearse what that feels like, and it makes it a bit easier. So who could you write in the comments examples of behaviors, tricks, what games, whatever you do with your dogs that your dogs find high energy first. In fact, you can put a high energy one next to a peach and a low energy dog game next to an orange. Let's do a 2 for 1. That'd be easier because of the lag, or else it just irritates me.
So you want a training game?
Yeah, a
Yeah,
training
high
game
energy.
or a trick or anything that you do in your training sessions with your dog that they find high energy. So things that bring them up. So do a peach emoji and then tell us what the high energy thing is. And then do an orange emoji and tell us what your low energy thing might be. So for me,
Dog being mad all over the place. Not
for me, for Hattie, high energy stuff would be any games that we play that involves her chasing food. So that would be her high energy. Her low energy would be the something like a slow feeding type of thing, or some of the impulse control games that I do.
But you know, you're still stuck in the food delivery, Julia. Those aren't tricks.
You're absolutely right. So let's
Be
say a trick,
specific.
a lower energy trick for Hattie. You're absolutely bob on. So for her, that brings her a little bit more down, it would be something like doing a down. Or we do a side where she lies on her side. We do something like that. Those are quite, or figure 8 walking is another behavior that we do. That's a low energy one. That's another one. Ball, scent work. Yep.
Libel training, says Iris, is definitely a peach.
Yep. Scent work's a really good one, actually. Licky Mattle snuggle time for the oranges. Yep, great. High energy wrestling type games, low energy, just doing a down. Yep, great.
So interesting. I noticed, just to get back to the food delivery thing,
Yeah.
Stevie really loves toy play a lot, and in highly distracting scenarios, food might just not be the thing. It really has to be like super high value stuff, and even there, it can she might not stick with an exercise for very long. However, the ones where I can use a toy, she's like all over it. Having said that, if you do conditioning stuff on that, it's all foodie, and then she sticks with it again. So I'm not entirely clear. There's certain, maybe it's games where they haven't broken it down enough. But that's not what I wanted to say. What I noticed was, yeah, no, it's the reward process. What I noticed was I do one food delivery, just holding the cookie in the one hand and her by the collar or the lead, or just have her circle me like get it, chase that piece of food in my hand. I do that once, and then after that she immediately start jumping up at me.
Yeah, you change that energy level back up again.
Totally. And the thing is, I know that I can drive her high if I tug too much and do things like that, but just once do a food delivery like that. It amazed me, right? Because with a dog that loves toys and loves to tug, we don't often use those kind of food games because we, we don't have to. But the thing is, I wanted to make the food more valuable, and then I just thought, okay, let's try this. And boy, what a different dog. It was really interesting.
And that's the thing though, isn't it? You know, it's when you are training, thinking about what you're using as your reward, because it does change the energy level, doesn't it?
Yeah, what you use and how you do
Totally.
it.
And how you deliver it, and what you, but you know, using a toy, it's really hard to use a toy and bring energy down.
Yeah.
Hi, Linny, on YouTube, watching from the US. Hope you haven't got minus 26 degrees there like LJ has. It just makes me shiver think about it. So, what if you have a more dashy type dog, so a more thinky dog? Because they, of course, have their challenges as well. And in a lot of ways, they can be a little bit more, even more difficult because you actually have to get them to do something before you can get them to do the thing that you're aiming for. So, for a dashy type dog, if you're doing something that's more still, you know, that's something they're going to find really easy. But and I think anybody that's done any, you know, has been on Reboot or anything that's done train alongs with Dash, I'm sure you could see he can get really stuck. So if he's gone into a settle on his bed, he can get super stuck unless I get him up and moving regularly. Or if we do anything that's quite a still behavior, again, he can get really stuck. I have to get him moving again. So movement breaks are really important. But the other thing is when they do get stuck, they can get a little bit kind of down in the dumps as well about it. It just, I find it breaks their confidence a little bit because I think when, you know, when you kind of, you know, when you think, do you know what, I'm going to have a duvet day today. I don't know if you've ever done that. Have you ever done that, Barbara? I thought I'm going to have a duvet day today.
What
You know, where you'll just stay, you know, you're just staying inside, you're going to watch
Yeah.
telly, you're not really going to do a lot. And I have these ambitions to do these sorts of things every now and again. But I get so down on myself after a while. I think I'm chilling out, but actually I just end up getting really grumpy and just really down. And I need to be up and doing things. And I think that, you know, with those, the very thinky dogs, we have to encourage them to do a bit of doing so they don't just get into that little sort of cocoon of still.
Yeah. No, you totally, I'm pretty sure you're right there.
Mm.
But here's another thing. If I look at my two boys, right, then Noah is really calm around the house, really calm. He gets his, you know, the whole high energy thing comes out when we train, and I get him anything to do, right? So Falky on the other hand, doesn't chilling at home is really difficult. I mean, at the drop of a hat, just hearing a dog bark outside, he like explode.
Yeah.
Okay, he got up now. That's really good. Super. I heard that dog too. Okay. But in when we're working, when you know, in training scenarios, he's more thoughtful
You've
and
said
doesn't
about
rush
that
into
before.
it. So it's kind of across thingy.
Yeah. I wonder if that's sort of more of a confidence thing that
Oh,
he's,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
100% what's
And you
gonna,
often have that, right? With the
yeah.
dogs that are so it's how we measure, you know, how we get really at the just isolate just the energy level. That is that question.
Exactly. You know, I was working with a dog this afternoon called, he's got the best name ever. He's called William Wellington. And
Love it.
you see, where I live is the home of the Staffy. So yeah, we're North Staffordshire, which is where they were first came from. So there's loads of them around. And he's a big beast of a Staffy, you know, really solid. And he's lovely. But he just wants to be doing things all the time. And that off switch is owner is finding really, really difficult. Now they also have a deaf St. Bernard, which just adds to the delights.
But they
Huh?
They are an off switch basically, no? Most
Well, Ruby
Um,
is, but she isn't. She's had quite a few health problems. So, and because she's deaf, she just shouts because and she'll react to him. So yeah, but so we were talking today very much about how we kind of help him to build this stillness and give him value for stillness and and do lots of stuff to do that up and downy type of thing so he can work out how the heck to do that. Ah, we've got Shawnee here as well.
yeah.
Now, I did notice Iris had made a really interesting comment. Some food rewards
yeah.
get Billy too excited. I will have to use lesser food as a reward to bring him back down for the next session. And it's a funny thing, isn't it? Because we know that giving food should naturally bring our dogs down because, they've got to get digestion and stuff working. But if it's really high value, it's also really exciting. And that you get that drive to want it. So yeah, that's another good thing. If I want to do something calming, I do tend to use something slightly lower value if I possibly can. I tend to use lower value as my default and go to higher value when I need it, personally.
Did we get any questions for today?
I don't
Because I didn't see
think
any.
so, but we might have some people that have got questions that are on here, which would be jolly nice.
Yeah, you guys know how to post your questions. So
Yeah, please post some questions or any comments or anything. So yeah, in terms of your dog's personality profile, it's going to be, I say the last one next week. It is with the profile, but there is an extra one that I want to do the week after as well.
awesome. I really love this. Those are
I just like it's just to pose a question so that people are thinking about who is my dog rather than making assumptions. And I know that the people actually that come along to these sessions, they're the people that, study their dogs, they know their dogs, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
like you guys.
Yeah, exactly. They're brilliant. But I just find it really, really interesting. And I don't think it hurts any of us to take a little step back and go, right, I need to remember who you actually are rather than who I want you to be.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
Camila says, yes, please. I think that's to the one more of yours. Of your
Oh, we've
posts.
got Linny who's got a chili pepper and 2 mangoes. And she's been walking in a cold field as well. Quite glad I'm here.
Camila says, when
Yes.
her two are relaxing, they've started to become very aware and react to outside noises, particularly car doors. I'm wondering about noise sensitivity. It's a good one.
Yeah, and it's different. I mean, car doors, it's usually a prediction thing, isn't it? Because a car door closing might be a prediction of a person coming into the house or a person standing outside the house. So,
Yeah. Maybe think about what that could be, right?
Mm.
What
And
that could be what association they might have with a car door.
what would be really useful actually is to do a little bit of stealth training. Because there are going to be certain times of day when you're probably going to hear more car doors. So when people are bringing kids back from school or coming home from work or those kind of things. So you could then, when the dogs aren't necessarily snoozing, but you could do some training at those times so that the car doors become a little bit more backgroundy rather than foregroundy. Because we don't want your poor dogs just to not be getting enough rest because they're always like, oh, and super vigilant. It's that super vigilance, isn't it?
And we did do a live on stealth training, didn't we? Was it last Friday? I cannot remember now. I'm pretty sure
I
we
think
did
so.
one.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it
have
was
a little
last
look
Friday.
at that. Yeah.
So if you wonder what we're talking about, just have a look at that. It's one of those short Friday lives that we do. So it's a quick one to look up.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I would do that. The other thing I would do is obviously management. So when they are having chill time, put some other noise into, whether it's white noise or music, to try and deaden the sounds a little bit during those times that are more difficult. That kind of thing. And again, doing that kind of calmness training as well, just keep working on that growing that calmness muscle to help them out. I mean, I do something called none of your business training, which I find super useful, which just helps the dog to realize that actually it's nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
And
And
that
Elsie-
is, which course is that in? That's in, is it in
None
Walks?
of your business.
It might be in Walks Without Worry.
Yeah, I
But
think
it will also, there'll be something that we're doing coming up that actually will be quite useful for you. And we'll have none of your business training in, plus many other things, because we're building a few more little sort of smaller courses for you. So
So
that would be useful.
LG made a good comment. She said, I think you can change a dog's expectation from needing to always be doing something to finding value in chilling out. Totally true.
I definitely agree with that.
And then Sue says, Remy just can't ignore a dog bark even when we are training in our own backyard. He has to go tearing off to the back fence. Sue, I hear you. I know exactly what that's like. I used to have that with Falcon, especially with the neighbor Nemesis. But
The one that came and stole.
no,
Not that
one.
neighbor Nemesis. That's hilarious. You need to
She
tell that
lived.
story in a minute, because it was so funny.
Yeah. So no, that's not the Nemesis. That's their girlfriend. She
Ah.
lives at the back and goes to, into our we share the backyard. But the one that lives next door that they never see, but they hear the voice. But any other dog bark, he reacts to dog barks in the distance. And I mean, lots of people here leave their dogs out in the yard, so there's lots of barking. There's lots of. What do you have food here doing? Anyway, it's so improved now, so improved. So you can, and ultimately, what I did with the dog barking was stealth training. I mean, there's all the, you guys have seen our stuff on okay, no, on Chase. Sorry, I took a total blank there. I was a complete muppet, like, huh? I just couldn't think of the word. The chase model, you want any kind of reactivity, you want to look at it from different angles. But what really helped Falky, what is helping, because we're not done with it, is stealth training for sure. It's a big piece of the puzzle for him. Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's the sort of thing, whether it might be something that you could get some help on a diagnostic call if you fancy booking one of those ever. That's the sort of thing that we can chat
Big
about.
in for you. Yeah.
So Shawnee's got Kelby is reactive, and Luna
is a peach.
Is a peachy one. So go on, please tell the story about your neighbours.
Oh. Well, that was yesterday while we were.
It made me laugh yesterday.
Yeah, we were teaching our reboot class, and then I was sitting here and I suddenly heard suspicious noises in the kitchen, like a dog getting into something, stuff falling. But everyone was snoozing. So I got up to have a look, and my neighbor who, the same yard, kind of the girlfriend, basically, the doggy girlfriend, she had entered the kitchen. I left the kitchen door open and stolen, she's taken the treat bag off the table and emptied it of all the content, and was now lying outside trying to open another treat container that had a lid on. He carried that whole treat container out. Goodness, yeah.
So yes, Barbara found this in the middle of a Zoom.
Oh, the class, yeah. I had to
in the
just
middle of
run
a
to the
class.
kitchen to see what is it,
Yeah.
what's going on. My dogs are all here. So it was
I was very helpful, and suggestive management might have been the way forward.
yeah, just With the door closed.
Just make me laugh. Any other questions? Does anybody else want to ask anything today?
Cool.
Just giving everyone a minute because we've got the great
Give him a
face.
minute. And I've been a little bit tired today. I didn't actually throw enough fruit at you guys. Really sorry.
No, I tell
I
you what,
know a bit of a
I've scheduled the next one for next week, which is on something or other. No, it's about the different, whether your dog's a super focuser dog or if they're a bit more butterfly brainy, that kind of thing. So we can get lots of fruit. We'll plan plenty of fruit to make up for it.
for that one, yeah.
Yeah, there'll be a full salad and a punch bowl.
I like it. That's really good. Really, really good. Right. I think it's gone quiet in the comments.
It has.
So let's call it a day.
Well, Carmela, she normally gets 5 a day from these lives normally.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was a bit slack today. Shawnee just gives us a mango. Thank you, Shawnee. And I'll be more awake next time. I'm really sorry. I'm just really tired today.
It's been one of those weeks. I'm having a bit of a week this week. My lovely son is moving to Australia on Friday. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry.
No.
So we're just it's just been all a little bit manic. So my brain isn't quite where it needs to be for work. So yeah, he's going to be in Melbourne for those people that are in Oz.
Shawnee, yes, we do see your posts, and you gave us a mango, and you said that
I
Caleb is
wonder if
receptive,
Shawnee
but
is watching a little bit delayed.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that
we
might
do
be
see
what's
it.
happened
We
there.
see it, and we did comment on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, absolute pleasure. As I say, there will be as many fruit as you can eat next week.
All right. Okay.
Right.
Have a wonderful rest of your day, night, wherever you are.
Yes, do.
And
we'll
we'll
see you next time.
Thank you so much for joining us. Really, really, really lovely.
Yeah, we always love it.
Yeah.
See you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.